everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com, coming in making a video for you today. I just wanted to, talk about this whole Nimrod thing and Baal temple. Everyone, people are asking if I've seen this yet, and so yeah, I've seen it. And Rob Puskiba put out a great video the other day and talking about this, and so this is really kind of a buzz right now around Facebook and Twitter and the social media. Just put out my perspective on this. ISIS came out, destroyed Palmyra, the temple, and so now people want to... And what I saw is that they're going to build 100 of these temple gates around the world. The whole New York City and London thing, that was kind of interesting. But 100 of these things around the world, that's what they're saying now. I don't know if that's true, but I've seen a couple of outlets, news places report on this, 100. So... that's pretty significant. That takes it from the realm of, interesting piece of information to, whoa, blow your mind. This is really crazy last day stuff, because 100 gates. See, gates are made for things to walk through. And you're putting them all over the world. That's really, I don't know how much more of an invitation you can get for the Antichrist to come on this earth. Most of us agree that this is the last days and we're very close. And so, yeah, wow. So, but the perspective I wanted to, there's two things that I really wanted to bring up. Is that, number one, this shows the difference between the Hebraic perspective and the Islamist perspective. Because people are saying, yeah, ISIS is doing the right thing. They're destroying all these idols. Yeah. And, even though they're a horrible organization, they're destroying the idols. Yeah. That was never the Hebraic perspective. The ISIS perspective, the Islamist worldview and perspective is that we make the world Islam or the world dies. Simple, right? The Hebraic perspective is, this is the land I've given your fathers, okay? I promised you this is your inheritance. I'm giving it to you. Now here's the rule book for you to stay in this land. You must keep the land pure, no idolatry, bang, 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 all down the list. Here's the list of rules you must obey, while you stay in this land. If you follow them, you get blessings. If you don't, you get curses. And so, and we all know what happened. But the whole point was, I don't care about the rest of the world. You're going to be a nation of priests. I'm going to give you all these. If you stay in this land and keep it pure the way you're supposed to, keep it clean from idolatry and all these pagan practices that the people here used to do, then I'm going to bless you so much that the rest of the world will take notice and be like, what God are they worshiping over there? Because I want some of that God. Because we're worshiping all these fake gods, of wood and stone, and it's not getting us anywhere. That's how we are a nation of priests. Just our mere existence and the blessings that we were receiving for keeping God's holy Torah, God's law, was going to be evidence enough to make the rest of the world say, I want some of that. I need to be over there. I want those kind of blessings on my life and in my family and on my land. And so it's not like Islam where it says, make the world Islam or you die. And I tear down all the idols of the world. No. The idols of the world don't matter. Leave them up. Who cares? By the time I'm done with you, the people who put those idols up will be taking them down, because they're going to see the blessings that you get for doing things the way I tell you to do things over there in that land. So there's the two different worldviews. That's the first thing that came up when I read about all this, and ISIS tearing down all these idols. The second thing is, the mark of the beast. I think Rob Skiba makes a very good point that Nimrod is... the Antichrist. There's a lot of people who've put out very good arguments of who Nimrod is and how he or who their Antichrist figure is, whether it be Prince Charles or Bashar al-Assad or Barack Obama. And some people put forth really good arguments. But I think Rob does a very fantastic job of putting forth the argument for Nimrod. And he does so in that book, Babylon Rising. I differ with Rob a little bit on where I think the mark of the beast is. Rob correctly, I think, makes the point. The reason the world is deceived on who the Antichrist is because they're worshiping him already. Well, the reason I think some of us are deceived on what the mark of the beast is because we're using it already. And that is currency. This right here is a Babylonian dinar. Okay? A Babylonian dinar. That's a 25,000 dinar note from the Central Bank of Iraq. Once we invaded Iraq, Morgan Chase went in there and set up a central bank for them, of course, because, like everywhere else, we have to put the world into debt. And, Iraq is no exception. And so they set up a central bank of Iraq with debt-based currency. And, of course, on that currency is tons of Babylonian symbolism, of course, because it is Iraq, which is Babylon. That's the original Babylon. Anyway, on the cover of this 25,000 dinar note, you have a guy right there. His name is King Hammurabi. King Hammurabi was from the first dynasty of Babylon, the first Babylonian dynasty, 6th generation. So the 6th king of Babylon, first dynasty. There's a very good chance that King Hammurabi here was a direct descendant of Nimrod. Direct descendant. And people have pointed out, I think very accurately, that there is all kinds of Nimrod or Baal symbolism all over the world's currencies, especially the United States. I mean, you can't get away. I mean, all kinds of Babylonian symbolism, which are what originated as Babylonian symbolism, all over our currency, the dollar bill, and things like that. And so, and not only that, all over Washington, D.C., there's all kinds, and Rob makes a really good case on that too. All over Washington, D.C., there is Babylonian symbolism and Babylonian inscriptions, and some of it comes from this guy right there, King Hammurabi, because he was a king known by his laws, which if you ever look up his laws, a lot of them are very close in similarity, with differences, of course, to the laws of Moses that God gave to Moses. But it's interesting. But he was known as a king of laws, and a lot of the laws and things, inscriptions that you'll find around Washington, D.C. come from King Hammurabi, which is on the Central Bank of Iraq note. Do you think that's a coincidence that we set up the central bank after we invaded that country and then we put King Hammurabi on the cover? Not likely. But the Babylonian symbolism, which originally was Babylonian symbolism, it propagated over to Europe and with different names, whether it was Marduk or Osiris or all kinds of different Egyptian things. But it was basically all comes back down to Baal and Nimrod. Okay, right? So my horse in the race, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, my horse in the race for what is the mark of the beast is going to be currency, money. And when I heard about this story of 100 gates being put up all over the world, this is very significant. Very significant. It's something that you just can't pass over. Because if the whole world puts up these gates, chances are, and we know the world is moving towards a one world government, and with a one world government comes a one world currency. And if all throughout the world you have 100 different places where the gates of the temple of Babylon, of Baal, are being put up in these countries, what are the chances you think it might end up on on part of the currency of the New World Order? I'm just saying. A friend of mine named Travis Huey brought me onto this topic. He let me explore this. He said, listen, Zach, I really think this currency, and here's why. Bang, 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 bang. And the more I chewed on it, the more I agreed with him. I mean, you have the German currency throughout years before the euro was called the mark. You have the denarius, which preceded the dinar. I mean, a lot of people say that those two words are linked. There's people who argue differently, but the dinar and the denarius. And what did our Messiah say when he said, hey, who has a denarius? And they said, I have one. And he says, whose image is upon it? Image. It was Caesar. Well, Caesar was known as a god in Rome. And today you have Rome, whose image was upon that denarius, that propagate Baal worship all throughout the planet. Indonesia, the world's most populated Muslim country on the planet, celebrates Christmas every December. Every year. It's something that's instituted by Rome. Christmas. And so, yeah, I don't see how you can look at these links and not and just discount them. I really think you can make a strong case for the mark of the beast being currency, a future currency, something like this here that comes from Babylon, or with Babylonian symbolism on it, from a one world currency. So you have all these, things. You can't buy or sell without currency, right? That fits that description. Today, you have biometrics in your hand. You either have people have implants, or people even use their phones, or all kinds of keychains and things like that they hold in their hand to pay their bills. You have counters now where there's certain Walmarts where they have face scanners where you can go up and they look at the little computer, looks at your biometrics, just looks at your face and can tell who you are and can deduct money right out of your bank account instantly when you pay for your goods. That's the head in the hand. I mean, how do you not get that? Head in hand. Biometrics, there's your mark, currency. I'm not saying it's 100% true. I'm just giving, this is my opinion based on some of the facts that we know, and this is my horse in the race. I'm just saying, my horse may fall dead on the racetrack. I've told people that a lot of times, this is just my opinion. This is what hindsight of prophecy is always 20/20. So, but this is what I'm going with. until I'm proven wrong. We won't know until it happens, right? But we can guess. We can speculate. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm speculating. I'm guessing. The mark of the beast is currency with Babylonian symbolism. Now, you put up 100 temple gates around the world, that's pretty significant. I think you could see that on currency right there. Anyway, there's a lot more. We'll do a detailed video on currency and why I think that's the mark. There's a lot of reasons why someone can make the case for the mark of the beast being currency. Maybe you'll come up with your own reasons too if you want to chew on that a little bit, like I've been chewing on it for the last couple of years. Travis Healy was a friend of mine who first brought this to my attention, and I said, yeah, man, that makes total sense. And the more I chewed on it, the more I studied, I could totally see that the world will worship the mark of the image of the beast. Well, the world worships money, folks. The world worships money. Or leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.